Who can explain why guys beg for anal, but won't do period sex? My wife enjoys anal but won't do period sex. I don't mind it at all, but I respect her choice as much as I would enjoy it. Same here. We have had period sex before, but usually when that's going on we prefer to just masturbate together. Good man. I honestly really enjoy watching my wife do the same. I'm going to be completely honest here. I'm squeamish around blood. You ask me to go get pads or tampons or whatever, I'm good. But the sight of blood just kills my sex drive. In theory anyway. Anal doesn't seem very tempting either. Again, this is all anecdotal and theoretical. When you said theoretical, I felt that. 35 left square bracket M. I have no idea. I don't like anal and little blood won't stop me. Seconded. Don't care about anal. Did it. Wasn't my jam. But period sex. PFFFD. Put down a towel. We can still do this. Porn. In porn anal is clean. Pristine even. Most performers don't eat for about 12 hours before shooting and do deep enemas. We already know guys are idiots when it comes to porn versus real life. And period sex, even in porn, is a bloody mess. A lot of guys can't handle the image of their penis and blood in the same sentence. If you play in Poop's house, don't be surprised when he comes out to play. 2. Had a friend tell me of her first anal adventure with her boyfriend. A shit the size of his dick came out when he pulled out was not the image I ever wanted in my mind. Fuck that. Get out there and earn your Red Wings. You're not a knight until you've had blood on your sword. I personally have a bigger issue with men who want to put things in my butt, but refuse to let me put things in their butt. Bootiitis GATOHRVNITHNGINMYS's. Seriously mate. 1. No it isn't, because you're doing it with a woman, and 2. What the duck is wrong with being gay anyway? Agree 100%. While analgasms for women are a thing, men have way more pleasure sensors there. The prostate is only part of that. Some guys are fine with having their prostrates touched externally because it's less gay. Real gangsters run red lights. In Germany we say "Nechte Pirat stitcht or chins rot Meer." Roughly translatable as a real pirate sets out to the Red Sea. Nechte Pirat stitcht or chins tot Meer. Makes me really happy, because in both German and English you can make it horrifying by changing a single sound. As a woman I can say I'm open to the idea of anal, but absolutely not to period sex. Most people get a little preparation before anal to make sure you're not gonna be shitting yourself during sex. While period blood is something I can't really control the flow of, and I'm guessing most men who think like this have similar reasons. TL. Doctor, while both holes secrete bodily waste, one is controllable enough to not be secreting said waste all over your man's dick. How heavy are y'all's periods? Cuss by the 3rd day I'm barely bleeding, so period sex isn't really ever that messy for me. I bleed heavily on the first 3 days, then it gradually slows down, and on the 6th and 7th day I'll be barely bleeding. You're one of the lucky ones, haha. Neither of those two prevent me from getting in and pleasing her. I think society makes us think blood is dangerous, and we should stay away from it. Why do we blame everything on society? I just don't like blood. I don't like anal either. Yay. I feel like blood being a turn-off has less to do with society and more to do with biology/historical survival. For silly men, I'm assuming it's because they see more anal than period sex in porn. Plus periods in general are more taboo in society. Can't count how many grown men I've come across that say when someone mentions that time of the month, periods are much less taboo among young people these days. Going to buy your GF pads or tampons is normal, as a similar helpful or caring actions. At least among my friends. Periods aren't you WTF. Fair well shit. Sex is gonna be messy/not gonna happen for a bit. Or do you need me to go get you some tampons? It'll get your favorite chocolate bar while I'm out. And I think it's fair for men and women to be a little grossed out about blood. Especially blood that is partially coagulated, sometimes smelly, and mixed with normal vaginal secretions. As long as you're not shaming someone for it or making their life harding. Being grossed out is natural. We have evolved to be grossed out by blood, smelly things, and almost everything that comes out of our bodies. I don't think it's bad to not want to get even clean blood on your face or genitals. And especially if it's not your blood. I've got the red wings, but not the brown. Keeping it that way. Well, as a guy who likes both, my best answer would be that anal seems alluring as it's a different feeling from vaginal sex. Period sex on the other hand is still vaginal penetration, but with blood. Something most people naturally don't like. Woman here. Anal doesn't mean there will be poop. Period sex means there will be blood and blood smell, which is not sexy at all. But if I really want the sex, period will not put me off. Unless it's a heavy flow and things will get too messy. Poop smells. There is always a chance. There may always be a chance. But I've never had poop on my dick after anal. Period sex is, to use an inappropriate term, more of a crapshoot. I don't mind period sex, but anal has always been as clean, or cleaner for me. I'm not into anal, but I don't think the difference in preference rests on cleanliness. As someone else posted, if a girl enemas and, or cleans up well then anal is clean. And there's also nothing in the way of oral and other foreplay. I will have period sex. It's fine. But it's messy and restricts other activities. I never understood this. What's the point of a sword if you're not gonna get a little blood on it every once in a while? Sword fights with other sword carriers. Now, on guard. Exclamation mark. Have at you. Forgive me, gay dude here, so I'm not exactly well positioned to answer this. But when I have sex, the bottom has douched to make sure fecal matter an issue. Is that the same with period sex? Can you wash it out beforehand? Or is it guaranteed that some will end up on the dick? You can try to wash, but honestly you can't really control when it comes out, so there's really only so much you can do. Especially if you're on a day when your flow is heavy. You can wade in the Red River, you just can't drink from it. But now that I think about it, I eat ass. So I should probably be drinking from the Red River too. My wife says thank you. Old guy I used to work with used to say, if the river runs red, bike the dirt trail. Why am I reading this thread while I'm eating? Am I the only one who doesn't think anal is messy? I've had many a post-burrito anal duck and it's not a big deal. If anything it's more convenient than Piv6, because he can just come in my ass and I don't have to run to the bathroom right away to avoid dripping cum everywhere. If your man don't do period sex, he don't deserve the booty. While I dislike immature men who go at periods and don't treat their partner with care during that time. Don't shame people who find it to be a turn off either. I've never begged for anal sex, even though I'd like to try it sometime, and I have no problem ducking a girl on her period. I don't know many guys who won't do period sex, but I will say personally it took me a little bit to get used to the smell of period sex. When I was in my early 20s I kinda couldn't handle it. Too many things to juggle mentally to stay hard. But at 30 and like let's duck and go. Because some people like oranges but dislike tangerines. Elite a bloody pussy again, before I stick my dick in an asshole again. There is a story here that I feel I really need to hear. I have my Red Wings. Proud of you X. It's a societal thing. The same reason why it's okay to joke about jacking off, to loudly complain about blue balls, or even just to scream penis in a public place. But women's periods can never be talked about. And if they are talked about, it must be with euphemisms that keep us from actually talking about it. It's a holdover from the puritanical days of penis good. Over is bad. Apostrophe. Yup. I still meet grown men in 2020 who wince and whine at the mere mention of the word period. I think that attitude is slowly dying out with boomers. Thankfully. Trying to find logic in the thought process, I believe it is, because if done correctly you have a high probability of coming out clean, whereas period sex you are at an almost 100% chance your dick is going to have blood on it when you're done. Because those men are scared of blood and talk shit. My girl disgust with anal, but period sex is kinda her kink. So it's kinda mixed for a guy. NGL period sex is a go-to for her. I'll do period sex, but anal ain't my thing. Ego, with a splash of optics, is what influences this cultural norm, here in the West at least. Because in porn, anal is clean. You can't call yourself a warrior till you've had some blood on your sword. There is nothing wrong with period sex. It's just blood. And I've heard from girlfriends in the past that it sometimes helps them get over it faster. So I'm all about it. My ex did both. But I was never keen on period sex. Always did the cleanup before anal as well. He wanted me to do it to him too, which I didn't enjoy. He was determined to enjoy it as much as I did. I kept stopping as he was in pain, but wanted me to go on. He wanted to try it again, but I told him only if he did it himself. I had a girlfriend I did both with, and let me tell you, while her ass was remarkably and naturally very clean, she had some heavy periods, blood everywhere. We ruined some hotel sheets, and so many towels. Honestly, the number of times we did anal and there was fecal matter was probably about the same as the number of times that period sex was a bloody mess. And I would take the fecal matter over the blood every time. It was easier to deal with in terms of cleanup. Didn't get everywhere and, on a visceral level, didn't give me those slaughterhouse vibes. This is legit the perfect explanation. I'm into anal, but I also have no probably with a girl's period. I've eaten out girl on their periods, it really doesn't bother me. I'm kinda into it. I've personally never really been into Ansley, but I think it's the idea of being able to come without pulling out. Potential. Because enemas? I like both. Any hole. A period don't stop nothing but a sentence. Baby. I'm a man who likes anal and will just as readily have period sex. Jim both and I'm happy. Strangely, while I have no qualms about it, all except my very first girlfriend absolutely refused period sex. I even ate that first GF out when she was on her period. It tasted a bit bloody, but I didn't mind. Never even tried for anal with a girl, though I love to be pegged. Ah well, I guess I'm an abomination or something. Periods don't stop anything but a sentence. Cause we're already used to being in deep shit. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.